Assalamu alaikum. In this lesson, we will study the breadth first search algorithm. This is the sample output of the code we will be developing, which at the moment is for 5 by 5 maze, but will also run for any large size maze like 100 by 100. Breadth first search guarantees to give the shortest path. It is uninformed search. We will see what that means. As we discussed in the last video of the depth first search algorithm, the search extends to the depth first. If goal is not found, it searches the other depths. On the other hand, in the breadth first search, the search is done on the first level. You can say all possible one-step searches is done. If not found, the second step of the search is executed, which covers the second level and so on. You can see the search covers the breadth first and gradually grows into the depth, and hence it is given the name breadth first search. Let's understand the algorithm on maze. First, see the cell numbers, which are the row index and the column index. Then note that this cell is the start cell and this one is the goal cell. We have 4 possible movements: east, south, north and west. Starting from the start cell, we will execute each of these movements if possible and will see if the goal is achieved. East and south are not possible and north is possible and west is possible. It means that in one step I can reach to the cell 4-5 or 5-4 from the starting cell. You can say there are 2 possible paths at the moment. Now we will move one step ahead from these 2 ends of the 2 paths. From this cell 4-5, we can just go north and south. South will take us to 5-5, which we have already visited, so the only option is north, and we will reach the cell 3-5. Similarly, from the cell 5-4, we can move to the cell 4-4 in the next step. It means from the starting cell, in 2 steps we can either reach 3-5 or 4-4. Then we will go one step further from the 2 ends. In 3 steps we can reach the cell 2-5 or 4-3. Now we will extend one more step. From 2-5 we can reach 1-5 or 2-4 in one step. And from 4-3 we can reach 5-3. Now it means in 4 steps we can either reach at 1-5, 2-4 or 5-3. Meaning there are 3 paths now. This will continue for one more step. Now will be the next step, but from 1-4 we cannot go further because that is a dead end and that path will not be further considered. But from the cell 2-3 we will reach the cell 1-3 and from cell 5-2 we will reach the cell 5-1. Then the next step and now one more step and we reach the goal in 8 steps. Once the goal has been found, there is a way the BFS algorithm will find the 8 steps path that led from start to goal. You can very easily see the BFS finds the shortest path to reach to the goal because in each stage it extends one step until it reaches the goal. Then there is a way we can store the final 8-step path from start to goal, and that will be the shortest path from start to goal. Also, it is uninformed search or the blind search, which means that it does not consider where the goal is. Consider if the goal is here, still the search pattern will expand on the similar pattern. The A* search algorithm that we will study in the next lesson is informed search. Anyways, let's see the pseudocode of the breadth first search and then we will implement that in Python. For that, let me first introduce you with the data structure known as queue. A queue is a data structure used for the collection of the objects and is based on the principle of FIFO, which is first in first out, meaning that the first item stored in the queue is the first one to come out. Items or objects are pushed inside the queue and the first object will come out first and the last object can come out at the last. This is opposite of the stack, which works on the principle of LIFO. You can say both ends of the queue are open. One end is used to push the item inside the queue and other is used to take the item out of it. There is also data structure DQ, which also is open from the both ends, but we can push the item inside the queue from the both ends and we can also take out the objects from the both ends. We don't have the built-in queue data structure in Python. We can import that from the built-in queue module or we can use the list as queue very easily. You know, we can add, remove or change the objects inside the list at any location, but if we just use the append method of the list class, it will add the item at the end of the list, which is same as pushing the object on the queue. And in the list class we have a pop method to which we can pass the index of the list and that returns the element at that index of the list and removes that from the list. So if we provide the index 0 to the pop method of the list, it will pop the first element and that is the behavior of a queue. So simply we will just use the append and the pop0 function of the list class and that will behave as a queue. In breadth first search, we need one queue and I'm calling it as frontier and we need one list, I'm calling that as explored. Frontier will contain the cells to explore in the next step, and the list explored will be the list of the cells that we have already explored or searched. This is the pseudocode of BFS. This is the start cell and this is the goal cell. The algorithm starts with pushing the start cell into the frontier list or queue and also into the explored list. And then we have to repeat this process until the goal is reached or the frontier is empty. Firstly, a cell is picked from the frontier queue, then find the next cell or the child cell in all 4 directions if possible. If the child cell is already in the explored list, do nothing. Otherwise, push the child cell in both frontier and explored. So let's test this pseudocode. Current cell is frontier.pop0, so this cell is popped and assigned to the current cell. Now let's explore these directions of the current cell. The first is east, it cannot go to the east, so just ignore that. Then south again not possible, so ignore that. Then north, which is possible, and the child cell is 4, 5. It is not in the explored list, so push that in both frontier and explored. And then west is also possible, and the child cell will be 5, 4. The child cell is not in the explored list, so append that both in the frontier and the explored list. Now repeat the process. Pick the cell from the frontier queue, which is 4, 5. East and west is not possible. South is possible and the child cell will be 5, 5. 5, 5 is already in the explored list, so do nothing. North is possible and child cell is 3, 5. It is not in the explored list, so push that in both frontier and explored. The next cell will be popped from the frontier queue, and that is 5, 4. East is possible, but the child cell 5, 5 is already in the explored list, so do nothing. South is not possible, west is not possible, but north is possible, and the child cell will be 4, 4. Now I hope you can easily follow the steps. And we reach the goal cell. Now let's develop the Python code. For that I will import the module PyMaze. It is a module we created for generation of the random mazes, and there was a detailed video on the use of the module. If you haven't watched the video, still you can continue since it is very easy to use this module. The link to the module is given in the description, and you need to copy the PyMaze file inside the working directory. Firstly, we will create a maze of size say 5 by 5. Then we need to apply the method createMaze that will generate a random maze. The last statement is run to run the simulation. And this is randomly generated 5 by 5 maze. Just keep in mind these are the indices of the different cells of the maze. The first index is the row number and second is the column number. The maze attributes you need to know to implement the next logic are row for the row number, columns for the column number, and one important attribute is maze_map. This provides the detail of open and close paths of the maze. It is a dictionary and keys are the cells, and the value is another dictionary with the information about the open and the closed path in east, west, north or south direction. For example, for cell 1, 1 east is 0, meaning that east direction is blocked. Only south is open. See that only south is open for cell 1, 1. And so on is the information of all other cells. So let's now create a function BFS for the breadth first search, and the input argument is maze that can be of any size. The start cell is the last cell, so I'm setting its value. Then we need to list frontier and explode, and I will put the start cell inside both of those, which is the first step of the pseudocode. Now is the while loop with the condition frontier is not empty. I will add reaching the goal condition inside the loop body. Current cell is popped from the frontier. Now we can say if the current cell is the goal, we will end the process. Remember, goal is the first cell, which is cell 11. We will have the code for any goal cell as well. Now I will explore each of the direction and will find the child cell. Firstly, I must verify if the path in that direction is open. For that, I will use the maze_map dictionary, which I showed earlier. For the current cell as key, the value is also a dictionary, and in that value dictionary, I will check the loop variable d direction. If the path is open, only then I will find the child cell. Finding the child cell is different for each direction, so I will have one if condition for each of the 4 directions. If direction is east, the child cell is on the right of the current cell, which means the row number is same as of the current cell, and the column index is 1 more than that. Similarly, I will write the expression of the child cell for each direction. See carefully, only one of these conditions will be true in each iteration of the loop. After finding the child cell, I will check if that is already present inside the explode list. If so, I will do nothing, and that can be achieved using the continue statement, which will skip the remaining part of the loop body and will move to the next iteration. Otherwise, I will append the child cell into both explode and the frontier list. So the algorithm is complete. At the moment we have not found the path, but let's test the function if it is error free. Now we need to find the final path from start to goal. For that, consider this demo. We will store the path as dictionary named as BFS path. When we move to the next cell, we can store the information of the current cell and the child cell as key value pair of the dictionary. One way can be the current cell being the key and child cell as the value of the dictionary. So the first information will be this movement. Cell 55 will be the key and the 45 will be the value. The next will be this key value pair, but in dictionary we cannot have duplicate keys. And when we add a duplicate key, the previous key value pair is gone. That is actually overwritten. So essentially this up arrow has been overwritten and not stored. So we cannot store the path like this. Now let's try another way and store the path with the child cell as a key and the current cell as the value. So this will be the first pair, then this one. Over here the cell 55 is not the key but the value, and in dictionary we can have duplicate values. So both these pairs will remain in the dictionary, unlike what happened previously. And this will continue. So we are able to follow the path from goal to start, which actually is the reverse path. Finally, somehow if we invert these highlighted path arrows, that will give the path we need from start to goal. Let's do that in code. I will declare an empty dictionary. After the child cell is found, I will add a key value pair in this way, which gives the reverse path. Outside the while loop, I have the complete path but it is in the reverse direction. I will invert that to get the forward path from start to goal. It's very simple. I need to swap the keys and the values of just the highlighted path. For that, I will pick the key value pairs present just inside the highlighted path, starting from the goal cell, which is 1, 1, until I reach the start cell. I will pick the value from the BFS path and will make that as key of forward path. And value of forward path will be the key of the BFS path. Then the next cell and so on until the start cell. Please note that this while loop will execute only on the cells present inside this highlighted path. And now the forward path is the path from start to goal and I will return that. So here I will assign the output to some variable, for example path. Now I need to move one agent on this path. For that I will import the agent class available in the PyMaze module and also the color class. I will create an agent. First argument is the parent maze, which is our maze m, and other are all optional arguments. By default the agent is placed on the start cell of the maze. Then in the maze class we have the method tracePath, and as input argument we pass one dictionary with the key as the agent and the value as the path we want that agent to follow. It is the output of our function BFS. See that agent is following the path from start to goal using the breadth-first search algorithm. To see the complete trace of the path, I can set the optional argument footprints equal to true. It is better to put the main program inside the if statement if double underscore name double underscore equal to double underscore main double underscore, since it is a standard procedure, and if you want to know the detail, you can watch the related video provided in the description. Then I have a file BFS demo where I have added few more features in the simulation to better understand the algorithm. Firstly, instead of using the list as a queue, I have imported dqueue from the collection. Dqueue has two ends and we can add and take out the item from any side. To take out the item from the left side, we have the function popleft. Then this BFS function can have any start cell. Firstly, let's see this code that will generate the maze we saw in this lesson many times. That maze is stored in the CSV file. BFS is searching for the goal. Goal found, and then is the reverse path till the start cell, and then the agent moving from start to goal. Here I have a 7x7 maze. The goal is also different as the cell 5-4. You can see it works for any goal or any start cell. Now is the code we developed a few moments ago. Let's try the code on the maze with multiple paths by using the optional argument loop% and setting that to 100% for the maximum number of paths. I think I misspelled main here. See carefully that a chosen path is the shortest path from start to goal. Let's try it for some bigger maze. In bigger maze, I prefer to use the full size agent by making the argument field equal to true. And it will follow the shortest path. We can also display the length of the shortest path. For that, we have a very simple class text label in PyMaze module. I will create a text label object. First argument is the parent maze, which is the maze m, then the title of the label, and then the value, which is the length of the path generated by the function, +1 to include the start cell as well in the length. I will run for the short maze, and let's reduce the loop%. Shortest path length is 13. You can count these cells. So that's all from my side. You should test the algorithm for different size and patterns of the mazes we discussed in the first lesson. Check that lesson as well. Next, we will also have a video on comparison of different search algorithms. If you found this content helpful, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. Also check out the other lessons related to Python programming, machine vision, PLC programming, instrumentation and sensors, etc. available on this channel. Thanks for watching.